But the adherents of Islam lay claim to a cure that is more effective. It is to sit in the mosque between the call to prayer and the actual commencement of prayer in order to remember Allah and to submit to and be contented with the divine decree, and it is of equal importance that one places his total trust in Allah. Have we not opened your breast for you, O Muhammad? Have we not opened your breast for you? These were the words that descended upon the Prophet, and they became manifest in his character. His mind was at ease, and he was in high spirits. He was optimistic and easy-going in his affairs. He was close to the hearts of the people in a venerable way. Though he was close to the people and was always smiling, there was always with him a sense of dignity and honor. In terms of character, his was complete and unparalleled, showing ample modesty. He would play with children and would openly welcome the visitor because he remained happy with Allah's favors and blessings. Hopelessness and failure were concepts that were absolutely foreign to him. Instead, he favored optimism of the propitious kind. Hateful to him were of ostentation, affectedness, and extravagance. It can easily be said that the Prophet was the epitome of all of the above-mentioned characteristics. He was noble in the true sense of the word because he was the conveyor of a true message, the proprietor of honorable principles, the example and teacher for an entire nation, the man of family and society, and the bearer of many virtues. He was, in short, someone who was guided to all that is good. He releases them from their heavy burdens of Allah's covenant and from the fetters bindings that were upon them. Or in other words, he was a mercy for the Alamin, mankind, jinns, and all that exists, as witness and a bearer of glad tidings, and a warner, and as one who invites to Allah by his leave, and as a lamp spreading light among that which goes against Islam, and its easy to follow message is the extravagance of the Khawarij, the foolishness and extremes of Sufism, the passionate love of the poets, and the vainglory of those who worship this life. Then Allah, by his leave, guided those who believe to the truth of that wherein they differ, and Allah guides one he wills to a straight path. A good life, a Western thinker said, it is most possible for you while you are behind steel bars to look out upon the horizon and to smell roses. It is also extremely plausible for you to be in a castle replete with opulence and comfort, and yet to be angry and discontented with your family and wealth. Therefore, happiness is not determined by time or by place, but instead by faith in Allah and obedience to Him. Matters that are rooted in a person's heart, the heart has a far-reaching significance, in that it is the place that Allah looks at and scrutinizes. If faith settles itself in the heart, happiness and tranquility will pervade both the heart and the soul. Was a venerable scholar and a prolific compiler of hadith. He lived a productive life, yet he was not rich. His garment was patched in many places, and every time it tore again, he would sew it himself. He lived in a three-room structure made of mud. Often all that he could find to eat was a piece of bread, and his biographers mentioned that he had the same shoes for 17 years, and he would often patch them up or sew them if they were a tear. Meat would find its way to his place only once a month, and on most days he fasted. He journeyed throughout the land seeking out hadiths. Yet, despite all of the hardships he had to bear, he was contented, comfortable, serene, and unworried, qualities that can be attributed to his fortitude, to his knowing his goal and final destination, to his seeking reward from Allah, and to his striving after the hereafter and paradise. On the other hand, the rulers of his time, such as Al-Ma'mun, all lived in castles. They owned hoards of gold and silver. An entire army was at their disposal. They had all that they desired, in spite of all their material wealth. They lived in turmoil, and they spent their lives in anxiety and worry. Wars, uprisings, and insurgencies brought their misery in the records of history. We even find that many of them would renounce the world bitterly on their deathbed, feeling regretful for their extravagances on the one hand and for their shortcomings on the other. Is another example. He spent his time on this earth with no family, no place to call home, no wealth, and no position. He had a room adjoining the central mosque, a slice of bread to keep him going for the day, and 2 garments. Sometimes he would sleep in the mosque, but as he said about his situation, his paradise was in his breast. His execution meant martyrdom. Imprisonment was peaceful. Seclusion and being exiled from his country meant travelling abroad as a tourist. Such sentiments could come from him only because the tree of faith in his heart had firm and solid roots, whose oil would almost glow forth of itself, though no fire touched it. Light upon light, Allah guides to his light whom he wills. He will expiate from them their sins and will make good their state, while as for those who accept guidance, he increases their guidance and bestows on them their piety. You will recognize in their faces the brightness of delight. Was a companion known for his abstemious lifestyle, taking with him his wife and children. He left the city and settled in an isolated location. After setting up his tent, most of his days were spent chiefly in worship, recitation of the Quran, and reflection. Most days he fasted. His worldly possessions were limited to a tent, some sheep, and a few other trifling things. Some friends visited him once, and they asked, "Where is the world? Where are the material things that others have?" He said, "In my house is all that I need from this world." And the Prophet informed us that in front of us is an insurmountable obstacle on the Day of Judgment, and no one will pass it safely except for the one who has a light load. Despite living a life of penury, he had all that he needed from this world. As for superfluous possessions, he felt that they would divert him from his main purpose, and would only cause him worry. What then is happiness? Live in this world as if you are a stranger or a traveller who is just passing through. Happiness is not in the castle of Abdul Malik, in the army of Harun, in the mansions of Ibn Jassas, in the